Hey everybody, Nathan Elson here. Welcome back to the channel. Now, one of the questions that I get more times than I can actually count is how do I get my images to be so sharp on Instagram? So I thought, you know what? It would take me about 2 minutes to show you guys my process of how I prepare my images to post on Instagram, and why not just make a quick little 2-minute tutorial to put that all together. But before I get started on that, I just wanted to ask you guys, I've changed my shooting angle here. Normally that camera is over here shooting back that way, but I thought I'd try something new. So let me know what you think of this. But with that, let's sharpen some images. All right, so here we are in Capture One. I've already gone through my processing. I've got this file saved as a PSD because that's how I export all of my large files so that I can retain all of the information, but I want to post this image to Instagram. Now, one of the things when it comes to posting files to any type of web format is you want to actually shrink the image down to a proper web resolution. Otherwise, if you're sending this large file to Instagram and you're expecting the software to compress that down, it's gonna look like crap. So the first thing that we're going to do is figure out our crop and decide what we want to do with it there. So, you know, with Instagram, they've got a 4:5 crop. I can bring this in here and I could do that, and that looks fine, but I like having all of this information up here. I like being able to see the top of the backdrop. I like kind of how it just makes it feel a little bit more environmental, everything like that. So I want to keep the crop of this like this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to export this to Photoshop. Now I'm going to go up into my export tab, and I've just got this little recipe here for my web res, and I'm going to set it to an IG folder, Instagram. And I'm gonna have my image name labeled with the web, and I'm going to set this to the long edge being 2000 pixels long. Now the reason for that is I just find that to be a really good size for social. Nothing really kind of, you know, presents itself any larger than that, and it saves it from having to compress the image down, as I was saying before, and in turn making it not look great. So I'm gonna set that to 2000 pixels long on the long edge. I've got my quality set to 80% because again, it's not interfering with the quality or the actual look of the image on Instagram, but it is making that file size again just a little bit smaller so the software doesn't have to do as much work when I upload the file. And then I'm just gonna open this in Photoshop and I'm just gonna hit go. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop, and the first thing we're going to do is create a new file. Now this file is going to be 16,000 pixels wide and 2000 pixels tall at 72 pixels per centimeter. Now again, like I said, I exported this image at 2000 pixels on the longest side. So if I bring this out and I just copy this up onto there, that fits the dimensions of the new file that I just created. Now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this down a little bit, bring this up a touch. Yeah, just like that. Shrink that down. Then I'm going to select both my layers just to make sure everything's centered. I'm going to come up here, going to click my horizontal and my vertical centers just to make sure everything's lined up. And this is the actual file that I'm going to post to Photoshop now, or to, sorry, Instagram. Now I realize that some people, they're all about the grid and they don't want any variances in it and things like that. And in that case, they would have posted the original 4:5 crop that I had in Capture One, but I don't so much care about the grid. I care about the actual presentation of the images that I create. I want them to be shown how I want them to be seen. So this is how I would go about correcting for that crop factor for an image just like this. So now that we've got the actual image, I'm gonna save this and send it to my phone. Okay, so here we are in Instagram, and I'm just gonna create a new post here. So I've already got the image pulled up here, ready to go. Click next. Now the only thing that I do here, and it's not a huge thing, but it is the difference between having an image that's sharp and having the type of images where people message you to ask you how you got your images to look so clean. And all I do is I go down into the edit tab and I slide this over until I get to the sharpen, click on the sharpen, and then I apply usually about 12 or 13, 14%, somewhere in there as a sharpening. In the actual software, I click done, and that is it. You will notice that it will actually just create just that little bit of extra punch in your images that wasn't there. Is it night and day? No, but like I said, it's enough of a difference that people actually message me to ask me how I get my images to look like that. And that's all it is. That's the secret sauce, the little code that breaks, the sharpness thing of Instagram, if you will. There's no big secret to it. If you guys are not doing this, I recommend giving it a try. See if it does help with the sharpness of your images. If it doesn't, again, like I said, the way you compress your images yourself to send them to Instagram, that also makes a huge difference. Don't send massive files to software to have the software try to break that down. Do it yourself. It will look much, much better. But with that, that's it. It's a quick one, really easy peasy. As always, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you again very, very soon. Cheers.